what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. Today, I want to share a couple of what I feel like are like divine messages that I typically encounter a lot. And when you get into spirituality and you try to make sense of all the information that is out there, it can be really difficult to differentiate between what is considered guidance, divine guidance, and what is just a coincidence. So I figured I'd give my testimony to help people differentiate for yourself how things may be playing out for you in your life as well. I want to talk specifically about these three instances lately where I've gotten these sort of messages, or I've had these aha moments. The first one was with this YouTube channel that I came across. It's called Tribal People Try. One of the videos just sort of popped up on my recommendations page, and it was of these guys, and they were receiving Christmas gifts, and just the amount of care that each of them had with receiving the gift and opening the gifts was really refreshing to see. I feel like in American culture, when we receive gifts, we're quick to sort of unwrap the wrapper and get to it and see what's inside. And then you have an initial reaction of whether the gift is good or bad. Like, of course, you react outwardly as, oh, I love it, thank you. But inside, we've all had gifts that we've received and we're like, this is not what I wanted. In this video, these guys, they were admiring the bag that the gift was in. It had a couple of roses on it, and each of them said how beautiful the bag was. Inside of the bag were wrapped presents. And so one by one, they took out the gifts and they placed them on the table with care. They neatly placed them in front of them. And they repeatedly said how thankful they were and how much this meant to them that they were receiving gifts. When they got to opening the gifts, they were so careful with how they unwrapped the paper. Some of them went to the edge of it and were so careful and neat with unfolding it. Others, they did rip the paper, but it was much more slowly than what we're used to seeing, or I'm used to seeing. Some of them received new turbans, which they were really appreciative of, jewelry, a new phone. I think one received a watch. So really nice gifts, right? But just to see the joy, and it even brought tears to some of them, the joy in them receiving these gifts. The phone that the guy got, it wasn't even an iPhone or anything. I don't know what the brand was of this phone, but he was just so happy. And he talked about how his children have been saying to him, your anniversary is coming up. Please get a touchscreen phone so that we can have one. And so he, received it as a gift, and he was just so grateful for that. And then another guy, he had a bunch of different rings on his hands, which I think were crystal rings. And he received 2 more, and that was the gift out of all the other ones that really just made him happy. And he was so appreciative and so thankful. And I feel like you have to see it in order to really understand the level of emotion that was involved in that. But it was very refreshing and just sort of touching to see. And it was kind of a reminder to me to practice gratitude, to see these men receive these gifts with so much love and so much care. It kind of made me feel bad. I felt bad for myself because I was like, man, I wish that I had that type of humility, right? And just care and thanks for the things that I receive, not just as gifts, but in life, my blessings in life. It was an eye-opener for sure, because I feel like for me, my mind is always on, okay, what's the next thing I have to do? I have to stop and really let the present moment and blessings and the opportunities and gifts that I receive from life sink in and appreciate them for that. Me personally, I worry a lot about the future and my life 20 years from now. But I think that level of stress and worry takes away from enjoying the present moment. When I thought about that last night when I was watching the video, I kind of cried a little bit. I got a little sad because I was like, man, I really just need to slow down and be in the present. Well, there's 2 definitions of the present. It's the present moment, and it's also a gift. The present is a gift. And I have to show my gratitude and be humble and try to live in that and appreciate that as much as I can. And then the other one was this necklace. I'm wearing it right now. It's a rose quartz necklace that my sister gave me for my birthday last year. And for the last 2 weeks, the necklace has been tangled. But then today, I found the necklace. It was sitting on my dining room table under a bunch of crystal orders that I have. I was like, man, I totally forgot about this necklace. I went to sit down and untangle it. And I said, okay, Kelsey, you are not getting up until you untangle this necklace, because you know how the things that cause you anxiety, or things you know that you have to do, or things that have to get done, they sort of linger in the back of your mind, and then eventually out of sight, out of mind. So you stop thinking about it. So I stopped thinking about that chain because it was hidden. But once I found it, all of the anxiety of like, fuck this chain, I need to figure this out. I need to undo it or throw it away. But I didn't want to just throw it away because it's a special gift to me. I just watched this video the night before of these men who received these gifts, and they were so gentle with them, everything I just said. So I took some sewing needles and I started to pick at the chain, and I felt like every 2 minutes I was finding where the knots were and undoing it, but then creating a new knot in another part of the chain. And it was really, really frustrating. And I had to take a few deep breaths and be like, okay, Kelsey, it's just a necklace. You're going to get it undone. And eventually I did, right? But on a grander scale, there were a few takeaways from that experience that sort of stuck with me. And one of them was patience, right? The other one was nothing worth having is easily attainable. And to me, this, necklace is worth something, and it's worth it to untie it. I have to calm myself, calm down, and pace myself, essentially, because across the last maybe 2 weeks, I attempted to untangle this necklace probably 5 times. And each time I was just doing it with my fingers. This specific time when I got the sewing needles and sat down with it, I was successful because I had the proper tools. When I finally got the knot out and I was able to sort of step back from that situation and to really calm myself, because even as I was untangling it, I was feeling so much anxiety because I was like, fuck, I can't get this knot out. And so once I finally did, the first emotion I felt was, okay, take a deep breath. You got it. Whew, success. It's out. And then the next one I felt proud of myself for getting that knot out, because it had been causing me so much anxiety for so many weeks and so much frustration that I felt defeated. That was one thing in life, one small little thing in life made me feel so defeated because I really love this necklace. These are the type of things that I think, for me specifically, if I wasn't open to these sort of messages or lessons or golden nuggets or takeaways in life, I would have missed it completely. And what I mean by that is those key things that I just mentioned are things that I actually need to apply in pretty much every other area of my life. Like the necklace was a metaphor for my life. You guys who you follow me, you know that I've been trying to declutter my home. I've been trying to get organized and strategic with all of my content. Yet, as I just explained, I've been feeling so much anxiety. And there's also this ongoing feeling that I have of there's never enough time to do things. I feel like if I'm not making progress, then I'm wasting time. However, with the metaphor of the necklace, it reinforced to me having patience. I know hard work pays off, right? You just have to be patient and know that it's coming. Hard, smart work, I should add, because I feel like all hard work does pay off. But if you're not also smart and strategic, then it'll take a little longer than it should. But that's the one. And then nothing worth having is easily attainable. So for me, I'm not going to say I take the easy routes in life, because I don't feel like I do. But there is this level of thinking that I have where when I put forth a little bit of effort, I expect to see some sort of big result, right? And never works out. Never has that mindset ever paid off for me. And in the past year, I've been in this space where I've tried to get out of that. I talk a lot about how I feel like I failed in LA in a lot of ways, failed being a makeup artist, I should say, in LA, because I let fear hold me back. because I wanted it to be easy, right? Like the times where I did go out and book gigs, I expected the success to come with that. I figured, okay, if I book this gig, then I should now get a ton of other gigs, right? That's the way it should work. The universe should just give me these things. But it doesn't work like that. It's the hard work. It's putting in the hard work and knowing that if that's what you want, it's not going to be easy. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take repetition. That's the other thing, is the repetition. So many times when I was trying to get the knot out of the chain, I had to stick the needle in and just kind of go at it blindly. I had no idea where the needle was sitting in the chain because it was just one big knot. So I repeatedly had to pick at it and pick at it and pick at it and hope that something would bite and that I would feel the chain loosen eventually. And that is what happened. But it was also the repetition of me doing that. And this, like, I'm speaking metaphorically here, but it was me having faith that eventually I would get the chain unloose. And applying that in life, I have to move forward, creating content and running my business and doing all these things that I feel like in my previous podcast, I said I have this habit of throwing shit to the wall and hoping something sticks. I have to have faith that I'm no longer throwing shit to the wall, for one. I'm throwing hard work and effort and strategies to the wall. And I have to have faith that one is going to stick, 1 or 2 or 3 or 10. You know, I have that now. I didn't have that before. And I think that that is the difference in how I am feeling about myself, how I'm feeling about life now, and how things are actually starting to pay off for me. So the last thing I said was gratitude and taking care of what you have. I will never again, now that I've gone through that with this necklace, I will never again allow it to get that tangled. It got tangled because of my own mishandling, right? Same thing in life. My life got tangled because of my own mishandling, my own misjudgments, my own wrongdoings and making mistakes and not doing what I needed to do to pull myself out of that until now. But the necklace was tangled because of my own mishandling. And so now, moving forward, because I know what can happen, because I know what's possible if I don't take care of this thing, I have to be more careful, right? I have to be more strategic with how I put it up at night. I have to make sure that when I'm not wearing it, it's not being handled in a way where it can tangle again. Because why would I, if I did that, that'd just be crazy. I'd just be careless, right? That means I don't really care about this necklace. Same thing in life. You go through life, you make your mistakes. And the thing about it is you can't escape mistakes. We're all going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes continuously. But it's not necessarily the failure or the mistake, but it's what did you learn from that? And how are you going to apply what you learned to your life so that you can move forward and make better decisions, make better choices that are going to be more beneficial to you and whatever it is you're working towards, right? It's crazy how such a small thing here led to all of these thoughts for me. And this takes me to my last message that I received recently, and that is this Jeen-Yuhs documentary on Netflix of Kanye. I watched the first episode. I'm 15 minutes into the second one. And if you are someone who is working towards anything in life, anything, which is everyone, right? We all should be working towards something. Then I recommend you watch that documentary, at least the first episode. If you're not a Kanye fan, just suffer through the first episode because it's not going to be suffering. You're actually going to be pleasantly surprised at this man's drive, at his confidence, and at his faith. And that was the thing that really struck me. Like, to see, I think we all know, like, to make it at that level, it takes a lot of work, but we never, really see it. And even though the documentary only covered like a very small part of his life during the late 90s and early 2000s, and it basically shows him trying to go from producer to rapper. He wanted the industry to see him as a rapper and respect him as a rapper. He was trying to get a deal and he was getting so many no's, and things were just coming up with people around him. Just random situations where you could tell there was it was rooted in jealousy. And all he was trying to do was just be put on. He was trying to get himself on, trying to reach his goal that he set for himself. And people wanted free beats from him. He went to Def Jam Records and played his tracks, and they were talking to other people while he was in the room, rapping to them. He did not have their attention at all. And you could see on his face the level of disappointment, but he didn't let that get to him. And for me personally, it was really inspirational to see, because I think anybody working towards anything, if it's something that is heartfelt and it's something that you're passionate about, it stings when you get a rejection. It stings when you put something out there into the world and you wait for the reaction or the success to come and it just doesn't. It can be really disheartening, but you have to keep pushing, you have to keep striving. And the other thing that really stood out was just the amount of support he had around him, from his mother to the cameraman who had this genius idea to document all of this, which was pretty much like a vlog back in the day. But yeah, it's also having the right support around you and understanding that even when you do have love and support, you're still going to have people who are going to feel some type of way about what you have going on, but you have to just push through. So it was yesterday, I feel like was yesterday and this morning, just very humbling for me. I feel very grounded in receiving these messages from the universe, from God. And it's very just reassuring, right? I feel like because I receive these messages, it's not only to help me along my journey, but it's also confirmation that I'm on the right track. I just have to reset and get to a place of clarity so that I can move forward with a better strategy. So if you're feeling really disconnected, really try to quiet your mind and just kind of take a step back and look at what is going on around you and look at the lessons that you're learning on a small scale that could be metaphors for something. Because I promise you, when you start to do that, you'll start to see how everything sort of works together and you really do receive the information that you need when you need it, if you allow yourself to be open to them. So I'm going to close this out here. I thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys take care, be safe. It's a lot of things going on in the world, but just get grounded and know that you have everything you need to move forward and to make progress and to pull yourself out of any situation. So thank y'all for listening. I love y'all, and I'll see you in the next one.